Hi, welcome to the small shed. This week on the Cyclekart I'm dealing with the dashboard and windscreen. See you in a minute. Now, a bit like the electrics, this one's a bit of a disjointed one in that it's happened over a period of time, and I've changed my mind once or twice on things. I think we've had about 6 or 7 different dashboards in the cart over the last few weeks, but it spans a period of several months, I think. But let's go in and have a look at the Cyclekart and see what we're doing with regards to fitting a windscreen, making a windscreen, and getting a dashboard up and running so that we can get the thing on the track. Right, so I've had a good day. I've taken the whole of the cart apart, put it back together again once or twice to get things sorted. I've sorted out the whole of the back end, but more importantly I've cut out the bit round the support for the steering column, and that's proved to me finally that I can get in and out, but there is one minor downside to that, and that is that I can't have, when I take the steering column off, I still need the space up here for my knees, which means I'm not going to be able to put the dashboard in quite exactly to how it should be. What I think I'm going to do is to end up with the scale dashboard, but have it so it will swing up like that out the way. A little cosmetic touch finished today. A couple of brackets made for the windscreen. They need polishing up a bit and tidying up, but that's something again I've been thinking about for several weeks as to how to solve the problem, and in the end it was relatively simple. A couple of holes through there to bolts that will need trimming down, but that's adjustable but stiff and solid. So I'm happy with that. That's another step forward. Okay, so I'm into the fourth iteration of the dashboard. So I've finally got a piece of die bond cut for the new dashboard. I had got the timber one that I was using as a template in the first place, but I'm reaching the point now where I want to start and mount gauges and dials, and plywood just is not going to cut it, I don't think, because it's too thick for most of the mountings. So it's time to actually start and get something that I can screw the starter switch in and things like that. I need to mount it. I've got to sort of bracket out for that next. Once that's done, we can start and get the gauges and things in, or the switches that I need to, and that will give me a route then to start running wires for the wiring loom. Now the tachometer rim that I've got, as I may have mentioned earlier, arrived quite badly bent. I've had to distort the back of it because I've taken it apart afterwards, but before that, when it arrived, I'll just get the glass out, the face of the rim was quite badly damaged round there and on there, and so I've had a refund for it. I sent them a picture of it, but actually I think because this material is so thin, I think I may be able to massage that out, in which case it'll save me quite a bit of time and effort in producing something on the dashboard that's equivalent. But the actual material we have here, yeah, it's really as soft as anything. So if I can just get that dent out of the rim, I'm just going to work round it. I could do with something like the end of a file perhaps. Because that's the worst bit, the bit in there. But this is not much thicker than tin foil. Nearly out, but not quite. Certainly now it's at a stage that I'd be happy to just put it in and use it, whereas it was quite noticeable before. But maybe able to improve it a bit. I think that's as good as I'm going to get it, and probably either repaint or replace the pointer. Now that was what I thought was my best alternative for the surround. I bought some stainless steel rings of various sizes. I've got some smaller ones for the smaller dials, and if I couldn't get that sorted, I was going to use that with a piece of perspex in it. But in fact the joining point on that is not as good as the repaired bit of that, if you see what I mean. So if I was happy with that, I shall be happy with this. Just going to see if I can get this needle off this now, and these things usually just lift. It's usually a friction fit on, but not quite sure. Just take it out of its case a bit. The usual story, I've got very little to lose because it hasn't actually cost me anything. Just got a pair of big pliers and something to stop it getting damaged. Put those underneath. If I can get the ends up over that, I can lever it up perhaps. That's it. Doesn't want to come. It is a friction fit on there because I can turn it round, which is interesting in itself. Oh, it's going now. It's just seeing if I can actually take the arm of the pointer apart, because I think if I can do that, just have a scratch at it and I can get the red off the back of it. Yeah, that's coming apart. What we can do is just file the red off the back of the dial like that, and that has made it effectively clear. And we can do it with the yellow on the back edge. That should look good. It's not as fat as the original would be if it was scaled down, but I think we're reaching limits of authenticity and things with this now, that it's all about fun and caricature rather than, so I'm not making a scale model, although I'm trying to get as close as I can. So we'll get the rest of this red off and we can dig out the yellow paint. Right, we're on to dashboard version about 15, I think, but for a number of reasons I've got to redo the dashboard yet again, and they've all been valid reasons. What's happening now is, because I lifted the steering column, I found that I needed to lift the slot in the middle, and that would have taken the tachometer out almost and virtually cut the dashboard in half because it was 2 inches higher up. So I've done a couple of things, and they've all helped with the whole of the getting in and out experience, if you like, in that I've lifted the dashboard up, and I'm going to be pushing it back slightly as well, I think. Slightly more upright now, but by lifting it, it gives me that knee room when I take the steering wheel off to get in and out of the cart more easily without any great problems. So it's a sort of a double-edged win-win situation. So I'm just making some marking bits of tape to get me closer to the right sort of shape. And I'm going to cut yet another piece of something. I'll probably use a bit of foam board or something just to get the right, make sure it's the right shape. Cut a final version. But I'm much happier that now, as I say, because I haven't changed that slot in the bottom, and I took, I don't know, 20 or 30 mil out of that column. Sorry, I said 2 inches, it was about 1 inch to be fair. Because I've taken that 1 inch out, it's lifted the whole thing up, including the knee reliefs, but I just need to make the dashboard that little bit bigger to give me the right amount of room for gauges and the like. But I think we're nearly there. I'll just finish this, and then we can go and cut it in foam core. Whereas it was out here before and sloping down, it's now much more upright, and it will in fact be more prototypical to come right up that high, and it hides the gubbins as well when I put the tachometer in. So I think we're on to a win-win. Right, we'll now transfer to die bond and start again. If I can find a marker pen. Right, that's certainly good enough to get a piece of dye bond cut to it. It needs the tiniest bit of trimming around there and probably rounding off on the top corner, but it's pretty much parallel with the screen. It fits just about. Yeah, we will come and do you. Now that's the revised dashboard in. Much happy with that now. That will fit in fine. I've put a pair of L-shaped brackets off the windscreen bracket, which just go on the other side of that screw and will attach to the back of the dashboard. I'll probably just put a small bolt through from the front. I think there's room there. I've drilled out for the ignition switch and made sure there was enough room for that to pop through there. I've put the kill switch in, which will be just above the steering wheel. Put the tachometer in. That's just about ready now to do the face and then wire it up. And I've put my switch for the on-off on the fan. And that's really all I need to do at the moment. I don't need to do that. There's dummy dials going in on those positions there, and ultimately at some point in the future I might put I've got a light for ignition, and I might put that either down there or down there. There's room for a couple of more lights if I wanted to, just warning lights or anything. When I put the fan in and actually connect that up, I might put a warning light next to it. Well, no, correction, that lights up anyway. The switch rim lights up on that one. So I don't think I need a lot else, but there is room if I need it. So I'm just going to get that painted up now, but that can wait as well. It's really a wiring job from here on in. So we'll get it all wired up, get a plug on the, I think I'm going to wire up the whole of the dashboard again, like the back end, with a plug and socket onto everything, so that I can just unplug it and pull the whole dashboard out as a single piece. So that's and that's taking it right much up higher now, so you can hardly see into the steering area or anything like that. That's happy with that as well. Right, that's got the dashboard sorted as far as I'm going to. I've mounted it in with the screws now. I've got the reset button fitted, which I'd forgotten about. Got my on-off switch. Kill switch now works. I've wired that in. Haven't wired the fan in yet, but we'll wait until we need that. And the tacho is wired up. So that's pretty much completed the dashboard as far as I'm concerned. And the screen's in and mounted as well. So that's tied all of that up, ready to get it out on the track and see how it goes. Right, that's got us a functioning dashboard that's fixed to the kart. It's not finished yet. There's a lot of fancy stuff to do, but at the moment I'm heading towards getting the thing running on the track, and as time evolves it will need certain things like additional switches and that mean that there's no point in getting it finished. There are dials for the dummy oil pressures and boost gauges and things like that, and as I say, probably some extra switches. I want to do it crack or finish in the end, so really it's got to be the very last thing I do almost, along with painting the bodywork. We'll be painting the dashboard, but for the moment we've got a functioning dashboard with a tacho, ignition switch, kill switch, and it's all fixed into the kart. So hope the video was of interest. Look forward to seeing you next week. We'll be doing something different on the Cyclekart. See you then. Bye.